right, football fans. Welcome to this emergency podcast. I tried to go live on YouTube with this, but I think I need to wait 24 hours before I do my first live stream. So uh, the Seahawks just defeated the Broncos 17 to 16 on Russell Wilson's homecoming back to Seattle. An amazing game. I just wanted to do a live rapid reaction here. So, what a game. As some of you know, I am a Seahawks supporter. This was pretty much a Seahawks Super Bowl. This was the most anticipated game of the season. A lot has gone on this season, of course, losing Russell Wilson, their best quarterback of all time, losing Bobby Wagner, losing a lot of players, Chris Carson. There are a lot of questions going into the season about how many games they're going to win. Are they actually trying to compete for a Super Bowl? Are they trying to, tank so they can get a quarterback next year? But this team showed a lot of heart, and that crowd, man, amazing. There were a few orange jerseys in there, Broncos fans in there, but the Seahawks really showed up and showed out. They were loud. I mean, there were a bunch of false starts. I think there were some illegal formations. They caused a lot of penalties on the Broncos. I was very, very impressed with that crowd. Last year, it seemed like there was a little bit of a dip in enthusiasm, but man, I hope this continues to carry on into the season. So, just going into some of the aspects of this game. I want to start with the Seahawks offense. So, Geno Smith, um, he impressed me today. I have to admit. 23 for 28. He started, I think, 13 for 13. Completions, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns. He took a couple sacks for 18 yards. Ran 6 times for 14 yards. He gave up a fumble, but it was recovered by the guy that gave it up, I think Charles Cross. But what stood out most to me is his composure today. He made some good throws. I mean, he trusted DK Metcalf, which I really, really think is gonna allow him to have a lot of success, and that's something that I feel like Russell didn't do a lot. But if you Russell didn't do a lot, I got it with a. This is the only one I have for now. So it's something that Russ didn't do a lot, but I feel like Geno will continue to do. Just trust DK throwing it up there and for him to get it. And speaking of DK, he he's still young and it's still showing. Some of the mistakes that he makes in terms of the flexing, the celebrating. He lost a fumble today because he kept stiff arming this guy and just leaving the ball exposed like that. So he needs. I feel like he does that once every few months or every a handful of games a season. So he really needs to, I think, cut that out. I think he will mature eventually. Um, but man, where Gino, I was talking to some friends about this. Where Gino really earned my respect today was on those runs that he had, where he was determined to get a first down no matter what. He wasn't sliding. I mean, Russ was always known for being smart when he ran, sliding, running out of bounds. Man, Gino was tough. I mean, he ran right into I think three defenders. He ran for another first down on a design run, and he got hit again. Got back up, kept playing. Man, yeah, I have to say Gino did earn my respect. I'm pretty happy for him. He's gone through a long journey. He's made a lot of mistakes. He's not a perfect quarterback. He's to be honest a pretty average quarterback. But he plays with a lot of heart, man. He plays with a lot of effort. And if he keeps those mistakes at bay, if he doesn't fumble, if he doesn't throw picks, and he gives his offensive weapons a chance to make plays, I think they can have some success. This is a big, big momentum booster for this team. I mean, how this game went would I think was going to set the tone for the rest of the season. So the fact that they got this win, tremendous. And for the offensive line, I think they mostly did good. Abe Lucas and Charles Cross had some mistakes. Phil Haynes had a number of I think false starts or holding calls. So there is stuff to to clean up on the offensive line, but Lockett made some good catches. Um, Goodwin made a good catch. DK had some really good catches. Will Dissly, man, great. Will Dissly and Parkinson had both the touchdowns. They got open. They were sure-handed. They made those catches, and they were the difference in this game, receiving wise. Running the ball, I thought it was okay. I think that there were some good runs that were called back because of holds. Penny was okay. He not amazing. Like I said, if those holding calls weren't called, then he would have he would have had a lot more success, and because he ripped off some good runs. So it was okay. I look forward to when Kenneth Walker comes. I think he's very elusive, and I think he's going to have some success. So yeah, we're still waiting for D. Eskridge to start getting it going. He was a high draft pick. I don't know when he's going to start getting it going, but yeah, Noah Fant had 3 catches, 16 yards. He was okay, but the overall, the offense did enough. They did enough. They were good. They were good. Um, and on the other side, I have to give credit to the Denver defense, especially I want to say from the end of the second quarter onward, and maybe even like the second half for sure. I mean, they were great. They were stout. Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory, I think they both forced maybe like 2 or 3 fumbles. Let me see, forced fumbles. Yeah, I mean they were everywhere. They did a really good job in the third and fourth quarter, and made it tough on the Seahawks. So yeah, big credit to the Denver defense. If you give up 17 points, you should win the game. Um, but yeah, it wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. Um, for the Seahawks defense, I thought Cody Barton made a lot of plays. I mean, he made that big play on Javonte Williams, the TFL, the tackle for loss, late in the game, and had looks like he had like a little bit of a knee injury. Hopefully he's okay. But that was big, and he seemed like he came up big. He made a lot of plays. Um, Michael Jackson, the King of Pop. The King of Pop. That's a good nickname. He was popping people, man. He played very well as a defensive back. I don't know where he came from. I think he was on this team for a number of years, and he's just now kind of emerging. I think at least 2 or 3 years, and he's just now emerging. He was good. He had good coverage, really solid. Um, Tariq Woolen had kind of a mixed night. I think he had some good plays. I think he would. There was one play on one of those. I don't know if it was Sutton or Hamler, uh, where he had just blanket coverage, and that could have been a touchdown, and he didn't let it happen. So, and I think there was one that he also gave up as well. So he had a mixed night. That was okay. I think he's a rookie, so he's going to learn. He's going to get better. Sidney Jones, I don't know. I saw him for only that one play where he looked lost, and he gave up that middle of the field catch, I think, to Sutton or maybe one of the tight ends. Um, Jordan Brooks had a ton of tackles. Yeah, 12 total tackles. Uh, he he's great at tackling. He does what a middle linebacker should do. He's not good in coverage. I don't think many middle linebackers are. I think he gave up some stuff to people that he was guarding in terms of pass catchers. But yeah, hopefully he continues to develop. He has big shoes to fill, replacing Bobby Wagner. Jamal Adams injured again. This guy, he can't stay healthy. I don't know what's going on. He's always hyped for the game. I mean, he's always um, really into it. Brings a lot of energy. He was doing well. I mean, he got injured on essentially a sack or a pressure of Russell Wilson. So, man, I hope he's okay. I don't know what's going on. I mean, the guy that came in to replace him, Jones, he was serviceable. So Yeah, hope he's okay. Hope most of the defense comes out of this okay. There was some good pressure as well. I didn't really hear the name of many other people in terms of pass rushers. Maybe Darrell Taylor once, um, but they did enough. Allowing 16 points, that's very good. And speaking to that, talking about the Denver offense, Russell Wilson on his arrival back to Seattle, checked down Charlie, man. I mean, that guy seemed like he checked down the ball 20 times. Javonte Williams had like, what was it, 12 catches, 11 catches to a running back. Um, 2 catches for a tight end, 5 more. Uh, Alberto. I mean, yeah, it must. I think he threw 20 passes to. He had 20 completions, I think, to his running backs and tight ends. Melvin Gordon got a couple. It's basically 4 to Judy, 4 to Sutton, 0 to Hamler. So I don't know if that's the those are the defensive backs of the Seahawks um, or the Broncos not being able to get open or Russ not seeing him. But it was a combination of a lot of stuff. I mean, Javonte, I think he's a great back, but 11 catches for 65 yards. He was held in check, but I remember him from last year. He's very dangerous, and especially if we're talking about fantasy, this guy's like a fantasy king. Javonte Williams, I want him on my team. I was actually in a tight battle with somebody that had in fantasy somebody that had Javonte Williams, and I had like Russell and DK, and he ended up winning because of how many catches this guy had. But anyway, Russ was very conservative. Very conservative. There's a couple deep passes, but I'm surprised that he didn't lead them to victory the way he's known to have done for many years in Seattle. Um, yeah, tight ends, his running backs, the receivers didn't do much. I think that they have a lot of. I think Sutton has a lot of skill. I think if he gets Sutton more involved, he could do really well. Same thing with Judy. Judy is a good possession receiver. He has speed. He had that touchdown for them today. Um, but it wasn't enough. It was a combination of good Seahawks defense and um, that crowd. I think the crowd really, really won it for helped Seattle win it today. Honestly, it was those little things. I mean, it's a 1 point game, and when you get all those false starts, kudos to that Seattle crowd. Kudos to that Seattle crowd. Really, really proud of them. And even on Seattle special teams, DJ Dallas had some really good returns. Um, the punter, uh, Australian guy, what's his name? Michael Dixon. Yeah, he was under pressure a lot. He got some good punts off. Jason Myers made all his kicks. Braden McManus, the kicker for the Broncos, made almost all of his kicks. He was 3 for 3 and 1 for 1. 1 for 1 on extra points, 3 for 3 on field goals, and then that last field goal. That's an impossible ask. I mean, that was mismanagement there. I think at the end of the game, which brings me to my last point of coaching. Pete beat Hackett today. Hackett couldn't hack it. I mean, that's really what it came down to end of game situations. Um, they kind of bungled it at the end of the game there. I was happy to see that because I think they could have won otherwise with a field goal. It looks like they had some momentum at the end there, but wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. So I just wanted to get this out there. Hopefully after, I guess, 24 hours, YouTube will allow me to live stream after games and stuff. So I wanted to get this out there quick. Seahawks beat the Broncos 17-16 on Monday night in Seattle on Russell Wilson's return. This has been episode 5 of the Football v Football podcast. Follow me on all my socials. If you want to support the podcast, we're on Ko-fi. Have a fantastic day, football fans. Go Hawks.